Hi guys, welcome to Just Tom Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the 790 Duke. For those who don't follow the channel, talk about cars, talk about bikes. Been around long enough, you can tell from the grey hair, to say I've got a little bit of experience. But today I'm going to be talking about that, like I've just said, telling you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and why I swapped out the S1000R for that. So without any further ado, let's have a whiz around and go see what it's all about. Okay, so the KTM 790 Duke's making 105 brake horsepower, 64 foot-pound of torque. Does that matter? It does to some people, because if you're going to be riding two up, you need to have it a little bit of low down grunt. I'll take you around the bike in a moment, but in short, weighing 189 kilos as well. It's a very slim bike, and from the rider's position it does seem really skinny, so much so that when I'm out riding with the lads I call it 5, because it's not a very big bike. 32.5 inches inside seam. Those that follow the channel, again 8, so I find it's a really good fit for me. But bigger guys have been on it. Jonathan, that you've seen maybe on the 125, he's ridden it. He's 6'2", no problems at all chucking his leg over that, so it can accommodate smaller riders along with bigger riders. So what I'll do is I'll take you around it, show a few of the details on it, and see what your thoughts are. Okay, in true reviewers fashion, we'll start at the front and work our way through the back. This is going to be my pointer, so this is going to have to do for today. Now you can see, and you'll see in a second, we've got daylight running lights. They're quite nice. You can change that in the option if you want them on and off. Obviously I'm going to leave them on. I say obviously, most people will do as well. If it means you get seen, bonus. It's got nice LED indicators. They're nice and bright. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. Moving further down the bike then, you've got the WP suspension. That is non-adjustable. Now, to some people, the hardcore out there, they won't like that. For somebody who's a bit of a lay person like me, I quite like it. And do you know why? KTM, you could say, know what they're doing. They've been around long enough now to know how to set the bike up. So for me, I'm quite happy that they've set that up. I'm quite happy that they know what they're doing for that bike. So that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore about suspension. I find it really good, plenty of travel on it, and it does exactly what it's supposed to for the road. Further down then, we've got the brakes. Now, I've moved from a bike with Brembo brakes, and I'm now on a bike with KTM's own brand. Honestly, they're okay. They're nowhere near as good as what I had on the S1000R, but they're not going to be. This bike, brand new, I think it was only 8.5 when it came out. The BMW, you got another 3, maybe even £4,000 in it. So you're going to accept that there's going to be a few bits and bobs that aren't quite as trick with this. What is nice to see, you've got adjustable levers, so you can move them. Again on both sides, so that's quite nice. These things are an abomination, is the best way to put it. Come on guys, you've made this bike look okay, it's relatively nice, but this feels like it's from the afters bin. I think they're running on the 125s, they're on the 390s. Come on KTM, we can do better than that. They're probably still on the 890s, but they look gash, don't they? Let's be honest. Okay, the bottom of the bike's quite susceptible to dirt. This was cleaned only 20-30 miles ago. Again, chucked lots of crap up onto the radiator as well. A lot of bikers that have got these, certainly on the forum or the diehards, they tend to buy guards, if I'm honest with you, but that's a personal choice. Looking to the side of the bike then, it's not a bad looking piece of kit really. It's small, and like I know I mentioned earlier about Jonathan riding it at 6'2", it is small, but it doesn't feel like a small bike. It's got big character, is the best way to put it. If doing your own servicing and such like is your thing, me personally I don't do it, but everything's nice and easy to get to. There you see you've got the coolant reservoir, nice and simple to see, nice and to read from the side of the bike. And looking to the side of the engine then, it's parallel twin. It's the first parallel twin that KTM have made. It's called their LC. I think it's got a compact C, is it LC8? Don't quote me, have a look on Motorcycle News, they're gurus for it. But anyway, it's compact, it's a really small engine. It is for nearly 800cc. It is, when you think VFR 800s with V4s, they're great big lumps. This is tiny. And then you can see here as well, nice easy window for reading your oil. There's a few bits on here which are quite nice, a few little trick things just like that. just little attention, little things with attention to detail like that, that us as bike consumers, we really like. But it is very wiry, it is very cabley, it's fair to say, so it's not the best looking from the side, and I think some people who like things, certainly your Ducati fans and such like, it can be a little bit messy. What is nice is this sort of exposed rear swing arm. Now I really like that, and I'd read somewhere that BMW, Honda would never dream of doing something so radical as that, but I really like it. I like that. That's usually on the back of swing arms, but it's really good. While we're down here, let's have a look at this rear brake. Again, KTM's own brand, and it works okay. It works okay. Well done, KTM, putting the valve in like that. We like that. It's a Honda thing, but it works. While I'm here as well, let's talk about these tyres. The tyres that come on it as standard are not very good from what I can gather, so a lot of the people on the forums, they moved to these S22s, the Backlaxes from Bridgestone, and they're an absolute wonder. When I got the bike, it had done 200 miles. Now I've done 4.5, so 2,500 miles I've done on, and they're absolutely fantastic. And you can see they wear really well on the outer wall. There's a little bit of bobbling, but good piece of kit. Not squared off either, and they get nice and warm. But that rear wheel, I really like it. Some people ask me, why don't you go out and show me to ride where it revs like? Because I don't need to, because everybody else does it. Go and watch, I don't know, Messing and Fly, he'll do it. Go and watch Motorcycle News, go watch Visor Down, they're all doing it. If you want to see what it revs like, go and watch them. I've not even got a camera to do it, it'd be naff. I'd be literally holding my iPhone in my teeth. It's going to be terrible, so go and watch them, come back here and get a real perspective of what it's about. The exhaust, when they did the concept, the exhaust came from the underside and it sort of came up here, forgetting about doing the tail. It was like KTM thought, oh bugger, forgot we've got to put lights and a number plate on the back. So they moved it down the side here, and I'll let you listen in the end. It sounds really good. I don't know why people go out and buy another exhaust. It's a personal choice, of course it is. However, that sounds really good to me. Yeah, it doesn't look so great, but it sounds good. Do us a favour, while I'm sat on the floor, click that subscribe button. Nice one. What doesn't look good is these, but they've done what they can with them. The really weird thing is that side is lower than that side. You get a lot of it, again on the forums. I've only had my lad on back and he didn't say anything, but it seems to be that some of them are at different angles. I mean, look at that, it's not very pretty, but if you want to carry passengers, it's got a decent sized seat on the back, nice little grab rail on the back there, and it's relatively wide. It's not like a sports bike seat where it's not usable. Hey, let's talk about this rear end, because that is not the best looking, is it? A lot of people put tail tidies on there. I like to keep things original, but in all honesty, it's not very pretty. It's functional is the best way to put it. The rear lights on it are really nice because it's got LEDs in, really nice and bright, along with your LEDs on your side indicators. So from the back, it really is bright. I'll tell you what is naff, the chain and sprocket. It's naff. This is the original one. Only about 200 miles ago, I was riding, and I keep this relatively clean. You might not agree at the moment, but I do keep it relatively clean. And riding, I heard a squeak. It sounded like I was smuggling mice. The reality of it was, in the front here, it was just making a massive squealing noise. And people on the forum were saying, oh, what you need to do is just oil it, clean your chain. I was thinking, surely you can't clean a chain to rectify this problem. Lo and behold, they were right. Sometimes it's the right place to go, and it solved it. So yeah, chain and sprocket, the naff. I was saying earlier about how big you can be. look how slim this tank is here. I mean, I've put pads on this, but really slim tank. It drops off quite nicely there on the sides, and your knees fall into this nicely. But yeah, it's a nice place to be. Nice controls as well. Look at where the handlebars are, trying to give you some sort of a view. But you've got a really nice riding position when you're on it. Your sort of arms fall naturally, despite the fact I really dislike them wing mirrors. They do work, and I suppose that's half of the battle. But yeah, do you know what? It's not a pretty bike, I don't think so, but it is a cracking bike. Okay, so we've had a bit of a whiz around it, told you about its few quirks, a few things that are good about it, a few things that are not so good about it. But now I just want to quickly talk about what it's like to ride, because yeah, aesthetically, bikes don't always have to please the rider, but the ride really does make a difference, and this is where that bike absolutely comes to life. And the reason being is because of that little engine there, that little 790 engine. To say it's a character is an absolute understatement. It absolutely screams. The amount of punch it's got when you first accelerate is I don't have the vocabulary to describe it, but what I can do is it gives you a massive smile, and that's what that does in absolute oodles of them. That's oodles, not noodles, and it's good. It's really good fun. Good, what a terrible word to use to describe something that's fun, but it really is, and it induces smiles, lots of them. It's nice, it's punchy, it makes a really nice roar. It isn't perfect, and the reason it's not perfect, and this has been sorted on the 890s from what I'm led to believe, and you can have a remap done, is it's really lumpy under sort of 3,500 4,000 revs, and you're constantly on and off of the clutch, having to sort of balance it. But once you're out riding, it's really nice and simple to use. It's an absolute joy to ride. Now, you'll know, because you're here, these have been out a while, so maybe you're just looking at these. It's called the Scalper for a reason, the nickname that KTM gave it, and that's being modest is probably the best way to put it. Now, I'm no road racer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to think I'm a relatively good rider. That thing is amazing for handling. It is so light. Going back to the comment about saying it's like a 125, that's where it originates from, because it's only 189 kilos when it's wet, dry, 10 kilos here or there, whatever. It handles absolutely beautiful. I have never ridden a bike other than the Grom 125 that handles as well as that does. The brakes, like I've said, are not as good as the S1000 are, but it doesn't need to be because it's not doing the same sort of speeds. It's absolutely fantastic. Riding position's nice, it's positive, you've got a good view looking forward. The knees are not too tight around the tank, along with your feet being in just the right kind of position. So it's a great place to be. It's a great fun bike, blasting around with your friends at the weekend. You can keep up with majority of riders that are going to be on the road whilst you're grinning from ear to ear. If miles per gallon is your thing, which I don't think are as bikers, realistically you can get 55, 60 miles per gallon on that, still divvying about and absolutely blasting about, which is absolutely fantastic for what is an 800cc motorbike. So my overall view of this bike is it's great. It really is good. All the newspapers and magazines that gave it its really good review, from all the people that ride really good motorbikes, they know what they're on about, but they do get to ride lots of motorbikes. As somebody that just rides a handful of them each year, I can honestly say that's a great bike. Will it stick about? Who knows? They never last long with me. But looking to the future, I can't see what I'd swap it for, if I'm honest with you. And the reason being is, it does everything I need it to do. I've got my S1000 touring bag, that drops over the back seat quite nicely. So if I want to go and do some, I can. The KTM reliability doesn't have the issues it used to have many years ago. Would I change things on it? Yes, I would. The fueling is crap at lower speeds. I would like for it to have had heated handlebars. It's not got them. These are all things that can be rectified. So for what it is, 8.5 grand when it was new, I didn't pay that. I bought it 2,500 miles on the clock. It was a year and a half old. What did I pay? 6.3. absolutely nothing. So that's it for Just Tom Talk. Thanks very much for joining me. Like I say, click that subscribe button. I appreciate your coming along to see me, and till next time, ride safe, drive safely. In short, and if I've not made it absolutely clear, this bike handles like snot. That means not running off your nose. It means it's stuck to your hands. This sticks to the road.